Semicircle or horseshoe shooting is a staple goalie warm-up drill that also gives players a chance to fine-tune their shooting touch. In this drill, players can be arranged into an arc or semicircle formation in one or both ends of the floor, depending on numbers, starting 10 meters back from the net. Younger players can start a little bit closer, and intermediate and advanced players a little further. Prior to the beginning of the drill, if working with beginners, coaches should be sure to give a demonstration of shooting technique, with fundamental cues being to reach their arms back and rotate their torso. A walkthrough on the prime scoring area should also be shown, which shows a player on their proper floor side and inside of 45 degrees off the near side post. This can perhaps even be taped onto the floor. Overhand set shots are preferred when teaching players shooting technique, which helps them stabilize the skill before adding more dynamic elements of running. For a set shot, think of Steph Curry taking a wide open three-pointer with his feet set, and for a shot on the run, think of Kobe Bryant taking a running jump shot. Keep in mind that the majority of shots in a game are shots on the run. In Variation 1, if there is no goalie or coaches are trying to get maximum reps for maximum participants, all players can shoot at once. This can be turned into a game to see how many players can hit the net each time, perhaps starting close and progressively moving further and further away, depending on how much time you have. Variation 2 is the classic setup, with players taking turns shooting, moving from right to left or left to right, which also allows goalies to make micro adjustments to their angles relative to the shooter. The golden rule in this drill, or the first drill in any practice for that matter, is to try to hit the goalie with your shot when they first step into the net. The second time through, though, players are free to shoot to score, as we say. Players should try to start from inside of the prime scoring area where possible, which is not always the case, waiting 1 to 2 seconds in between shots, which allows the goalies to reset. Another variation is to bring the players in tight 2 meters from the crease, which allows goalies to work on their reactions. Variation 3 is basically the same, except it switches from left-handed to right-handed shooters on each shot, which helps the goalie work on their lateral movement. Shooters can advance from outside in or from inside out, moving in tight as another option using the same orientation. Coaches should also distinguish if they prefer to see players take a set shot with a crow hop or side shuffle prior to the shot, such that a player might take when they have time and space to step into their shot. The other option is a shot on the run, or otherwise giving players the freedom to decide which style of shot to take. This drill can also be oriented with players in lines standing at the 5 standard offensive positions, such as might be the case in a power play scenario. In this setup, players can also practice the kneeling variation, with the player kneeling in a split stance with the opposite leg of their strong hand forward. For example, a lefty would have their right leg forward and vice versa. The player behind them loads them up with balls, with players kneeling, starting with their stick in the triple threat position and getting 5 shots. The object of the drill being to emphasize the reach and rotate action that creates more power on the shot. Alternatively, beginners tend to use all arms when they shoot. Other variations of this drill include sprinting into a set shot, screen shots around a dummy defender, telling players to shoot at specific corners unbeknownst to the goalie, mixing up release points between sidearm, underhand, and/or overhand. Something I also used to do after I shot, instead of waiting around, was to go and stand close to the net, practicing my loose balls as they ricochet off the goalie, which is a very defensive specific skill. Adding fun elements such as the beat your number game, whereby players need to score at least 1 more goal each rep through the semicircle, beating their number from a previous practice, with sprints as a consequence, or something else creative like that. Lastly, forcing players to react back after they shoot, as standing around after a player shoots is a bad habit that can concede fast breaks and breakaways to the opponent.